Hi there, my name's Luis, and I'll be your presenter. Welcome to Workplace Readiness Week. You might already have a job, or are thinking about getting one soon. We are here today because California state law requires that everyone should know their rights as workers. Why do people have rights as workers? People have rights as workers to ensure fair treatment, safety, and the ability to organize and bargain collectively. What is going on in these images? Examine both photographs. Is this safe? In the first image, the miner is cleaning equipment at a meat processing plant, which is prohibited for anyone under the age of 18. In the second image, the girl is operating a sewing machine, which is considered manufacturing, and that is prohibited for anyone under the age of 16. Many high school students get permits to work as miners during or after the school day. Some high school students are working without permits. However, there are laws that protect young people at their jobs. What rights do we have as workers at our jobs? At this point, can you please take out the Know Your Rights document that was provided to you and turn to page 2. Your employer is required to provide you with a safe and healthy workplace, training on chemicals and other hazards, protective uniforms and equipment, and workers' compensation if you are hurt on the job. Which jobs are teens not allowed to do? On page 2 of your Know Your Rights document, teens are not allowed to drive a motor vehicle on public streets as a main part of the job, drive heavy equipment, use powered equipment like a circular saw, box crusher, meat slicer, or bakery machine, work in wrecking, demolition, excavation, or roofing, logging, or a sawmill, prepare, serve, or sell alcoholic drinks, work or exposed to radiation. In addition, 14 to 15-year-old workers may not do any baking, cook over an open flame, work in dry cleaning or a commercial laundry, do building, construction, or manufacturing work, load or unload a truck, railroad car, or moving belt. Is it illegal to hire anyone under the age of 18 as an independent contractor? Yes, it is illegal. Independent contractors do not have the labor protections like minimum wage, overtime pay, sick leave, and more. Is wage theft illegal? Yes, it is. If you work, regardless if you were fired or quit, your employer is entitled to pay you for those wages. If they refuse to do so, they are committing an illegal violation. Let's talk about breaks and sick leave. All employees are entitled to a 10-minute paid rest break for every 4 hours of work, an unpaid, uninterrupted 30-minute break for every 5 hours worked, and most workers are entitled to 5 hours or 40 hours of paid sick leave each year in California. What are the hours that you can work? Please take out the intent to employ form that is given to you, and let's go over the hours that you can work. 14 to 15-year-olds can work a maximum of 3 hours on a school day outside of school hours, 8 hours on a non-school day, and up to 18 hours per week when school is in session, and 40 hours when school is not in session. Between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. during the school year, and until 9 p.m. from June 1st through Labor Day. 16 to 17-year-olds can work up to 4 hours on school days, 8 hours on non-school days, and a maximum of 40 hours per week while school is in session, and 48 hours when school is not in session, between the hours of 5 a.m. and 10 p.m., or until 12:30 a.m. on evenings preceding non-school days. How did workers get these rights, such as paid sick leave, minimum wage, safe workplaces? Right. Young people have been leading fights for justice and rights throughout history by uniting and protesting to fight for labor rights. In 1899, newsboys across New York City took on two of America's richest men and went on strike for better wages. And as a matter of fact, they won. When our rights as people living in the United States or our human rights are ignored or violated, what do we do? Workers won workplace rights through collective action, including forming unions, engaging in strikes, and advocating for legislation, ultimately leading to improvements in wages, working conditions, and protections against discrimination. Therefore, we have seen a rise in labor unions, strikes and other forms of protest, and legislative efforts. Here's some examples of people uniting to protest and fight for labor rights. We have to know our rights in order to protect and enforce our rights. And you can use your Know Your Rights document as a reference. Now, if your employer ever wants you to commit or participate in anything that is harmful, refuse to do anything that is dangerous or might harm you or others. Remember to document the violation with your phone, reach out to a trusted adult for support, and contact the appropriate government agency to make a report. To report labor violations in California, you should contact the California Labor Commission's office. So now we're going to play a game. Is this legal or not? You just received your first paycheck from Maria's Italian restaurant. When reviewing it, you notice that there is a charge for the 2 work uniforms you were given after being hired. Is this legal or not? It is illegal. Employers are not allowed to charge you for work uniforms. The holidays are a super busy time for the store you work at in the mall. You and your coworkers are helping customers, unpacking boxes, restocking shelves, and cleaning up. Your schedule during finals week has your shifts on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, going from 4 p.m. until 11 p.m. Is this legal or not? It is illegal. Regardless if you are a 16 or 17-year-old, you are only allowed to work 4 hours on a school day and only until 10 p.m. on a school night. You are 17 years old and work in a grocery store bagging groceries. One afternoon, your manager runs over and says you need to work at the deli counter because your coworker is sick. They take 5 minutes to quickly show you how to operate the meat slicer. Is this legal or not? It is illegal. Minors are not allowed to operate machinery such as a meat slicer. Some protected conservative activities can also include a petition signed by employees, off-duty workers handing out flyers about working conditions to customers, wearing buttons or shirts about a work problem, workers coming together to demand a conversation with their employer, and a group of workers reporting to a government agency. Employees can also organize a union at their workplace. A union is a group of workers who come together in order to negotiate with their employer about wages and work conditions. Starbucks workers across California and the US have been organizing unions over the last few years to fight for these rights. Union members bargain a contract with employers to address workplace issues. Once that contract is approved by union members, the employer must follow the contract, and it is a legally binding document. Now remember, if your employer ever asks you to do anything dangerous, you may refuse. Don't ever forget to take your rest breaks and lunch breaks. And above all, if you notice that your employer is charging you for work uniforms, make sure to address it immediately. Thank you for being a part of Workplace Readiness Week. And please take out your phone so we can play a game of Kahoot.